Kadosh Boker or Masechet Menahot Daf Yomi Daf Samech Amud Aleph 62a1 says the Gemara. Ketzad Hu Oseh. After we were talking about the Shlamim, that we have to wave the limbs and the Chazen Shok of the Shlamim. So the Gemara asks, Ketzad Hu Oseh, Maniach Emurin al Pisat Hayad. You're going to place the emurin, the limbs, on the palm of the hand. The chazev shok alehen. You place the chazev shok, the chest and the and the thigh, on top of them. V'chol makom sheyesh lechem, in any place where there's going to be lechem, halechem is always milmala. So whenever there's bread, the bread is always on the top. Whenever you're doing the waving, okay. Heicha, where do we find bread in the waving of a korban? Amarav Papa, Rav Papa says bemiluim, right? In the miluim. What does that mean? There it says in the pasuk, "Umisal hamatzot asher lifnei Hashem lakach chala matzah achat ve'chala lechem shemen echa ve'rakik echa ve'ysim al hachalavim al shok yamin." So it's mifurash that when they had the el miluim, that's when they put the bread on the top. So whenever they're waving, the bread is always on the foremost, on the top of everything else. Ken alechem milamala. My tama, what's the reasoning? If it's going to be because it's written in the pasuk shok truma v'chatzinufa al yishach lo yaviu lanif tenufa ve'aktiv, and it's written et hachelev al hechaze yavienu. So therefore, you see from here that you're going to have the chalakim to place them when the chelev is milemala and the chazeh is milemata. So the fats is going to be on the top and the chest is going to be on the bottom. So Abaye says hahu demaitile. Kohen mi beta mitbachaim veramile. There we're talking about where the Kohen is bringing it from the beta mitbachaim, like the place where they prepare all the meats. Veramile, and then he's putting it. So therefore, which means that it's going to be in a kli sharet. So therefore, when he's placing it in such a fashion, that's when it's going to be that the chazen shok is going to be milimala. V'aktiv netzretem v'yasimu et hachalavim al hechazot. So the chalavim, right, which is the chelev, has to be on top of the chazeh. So says the Gemara, that's when he's giving it to another Kohen. And then he's bringing it on the Mizbeach. And therefore it's come to teach you, you need 3 Kohanim, one of them to bring them from the Bet HaMitbachaim. So think about it. It's kilu that you have one Kohen bringing it from the kitchen. Yeah? It wasn't a real kitchen, but it was Bet HaMitbachaim, it was called. And therefore you need one Kohen bringing it from there. Another Kohen that he's going to do the Tenufa, and one of the Kohanim that brings it up to Mizbeach. So there's 3 Kohanim involved. It's not the same Kohen. It's every single time it's a different Kohen. Why? Mishum dichtiv bezitz written, berov am hadrat melech. What does that mean? It's a kavod to Hashem that he's a melech haolam when it's done with more people. Meaning instead of having one guy doing the entire show, it's split up between a lot of people. And therefore if it's going to be mechulak l'arbe anashim, it's going to be better in that way. Okay? 2 dots. Okay, nekudotaim. Ushte alechem. Right, Samech Bet Amud Aleph. This is number 2 already in the art school. Ushte alechem ushne kivsei atzeret. We're talking about now the shte alechem and shne kivsei atzeret. Right, and then we said, how do you do it exactly? So the Kohen is going to put the hands underneath the kvasim and then on top of the bread. The Kohen is going to come and he's going to wave them on lechem abikurim. I would have thought to say that the keves, that the sheep is on top of the bread. It's opposite. The bread is on top of the kvasim. So says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me it's on top, I would have thought to say lechem al gabe kvasim, right? That you could put the bread on top of the kvasim. It has to be on the bikurim. Right? So nishtakel katuv, so the pasuk is coming and telling you, so how do you learn it then? Ve'eni yodea im lechem al gabe kvasim, im kvasim al gabe lechem. So I don't know what's on top of what anymore. Bekitzur, I've got a contradiction. It said at the beginning, v'nifa kohem otam al, on top of the lechem bikurim. And then it says, al sheneh kvasim. So, mala mala, hakvasim or lechem? You have to decide, right? So he says, ma matzinu bechol makom lechem milmala, avka milmala. Check what's normal. Normal, what's always milmala? The lechem. So to you, it's always going to be lemala. So therefore, the lechem is going to be the lemala. Okay? Heicha. Where do we see this then? The lechem is milmala. Rav Papa says bemiluim, on the miluim. Rabbi Yosef ben Amshulam omer, kivasim lemala. The kvasim are going to be on the top. Umani mekayem al shnei kvasim. What do I mekayem when it says al shnei kvasim? Leotzi shiv'ah. We're talking about to take out the 7 of the kivsei olah. So Chanina ben Chaninai, right, Omer, maniach shtei alechem ben yadchotein shel kvasim. You put them in between the legs of the kvasim, umenif, right, and then you're going to do the terufa, and therefore you're going to do both of them, right? Nimtza mekayem shnei amikraot alalu. Why? The lechem are on top of the kvasim because it's on top of the perek hatachton shel hayerech, which means it's on the top part of like the legs, and the kvasim is also on top of the lechem because the top part of the kvasim, right, ze yoter lemala me'alechem. Basically, by putting it in such a fashion, right, זה כאילו אתה מקיים את שני המקראות, שהכבשים למעלה והלחם למטה, או הלחם למעלה והכבשים למטה. תלוי איזה חלק מהקורבן, right? It all depends which part of the korban is going to be above. So, according to what we were learning before, it was always the bread on the top and then the kvasim. Until here, since we brought down there's a stira, you would put it on top of the leg, and therefore it's in between. So now that it's in between, part of it is on top and part of it is on the bottom. So Amar Rebbe says, "Lifnei melech basav adam enosim ken." He says, "What are you talking about? What a disgrace to do such a thing. That you're going to put the breads in between the legs, even in front of a king. You don't do though, right? Lifnei melech v'anchem hakadosh baruch hu second. So you're going to do it in front of Hashem. Ela meniach zeh b'tzad zeh umenif. But rather you're going to put them beside each other, and then you do the trufa. Echad liyad hasheni, lo echad me'al, echad liyad, one beside each other. So ask the Gemara, "V'abayin al." You need al. Al means on top, not liyad echad liyad hasheni. It has to be on top. Amal le Rav Chasta le Rav Nuna says Rav Chasta Zumlim. V'amal and some people say Rav Nuna Rav Chasta. Rabbi letame. Rabbi goes according to his reasoning. The Amar al besamuch. He holds that whenever it says al, it means close by. You know, like when it says al, it's kilu liyad, like beside. It doesn't mean mamash literally on top. So I say when this is on top of that, it's ki'ilu, it's beside each other. Not that mamash has to be on top. The Tanya was learned in the right of Natata ala ma'arecha levuna zaka. You have to play on the ma'arecha levuna zaka. Rabbi Omer al is besamuch. Ata Omer al besamuch or mamash. You say that it's besamuch or it's mamash. So when it says v'sakota la'aron on taparochet, right? You see that al is going to be besamuch. Okay, fine. So Rabbi Leshitate. Okay, that it's going to be besamuch. Next, two dots. Molich umevi. This is Samech Bet Amud Aleph, the 3 on the art scroll. Molich umevi ma'ale umorid. You go up, down. Forward, backwards, up, down. That's the way that you're going to do. How do you call this? That's the way that you're going to do. We're still on Amud Aleph on 162A1, 62A. Yeah. So he comes and he says like this. Yeah. So he says that we're going to go forward, backwards, up, down. So Amar Rabbi Chiya bar Abba Yochanan Molicho mevi, right? Le arba ruchot. When you're going forwards and backwards, you're showing that kilu you're doing the mitzvah for the 4 directions of the world, right? Umaleo morid. When you're going up and down, it's shamayim va'aretz. That's shamayim va'aretz. Meaning when you go up and down, it's heaven and the earth. When you go the forwards and the backwards, it's the 4 directions of the world. But in Eretz Yisrael they taught like this. Amar v'chama b'rauk v'amar Rav Yosef v'chanina. Molicho mevi kedei la'atzor ruchot raot. Why are you doing forwards and backwards? To stop the bad winds. So to minute, everything that we do in the Bet HaMikdash, and by the way, you should know, we do this today with the Lulav and Etrog. The Lulav and Etrog, when we do all those ni'anunim, it's supposed to stop tornadoes, hurricanes, all these things. That's what we're doing, right? So he's saying over here the same thing. When we're going forwards and backwards, when we're waving, we're really be'emet stopping all the bad winds, all these bad ruchot from the 4 ruchot in the world. And ma'aleu morid is in order to stop the bad tlalim, the bad dew, right, in the world. Meaning we want that there should always be bracha. So therefore we're doing the trufot in order to help in this way. Amar Rabbi Yosef Rav Avin, זאת אומרת שירי המצווה מעכבים את הפורענות. So you see from here that the chalakim of the mitzvah, which are not even מעכב the kapara, meaning if you didn't wave at all, you're still okay. And still that is going to stop bad things from happening. זה עוצר את הפורענות. It stops mishaps. It stops calamities. It stops bad things. That tnufa שירי המצווה, because the tnufa, the waving, it's not even the main part of the mitzvah. If you didn't wave, it's okay. Right? Imagine what it does. Amar Rabba v'chen lulav. You see what we just said now. The lulav, selam mishos, b'diuk oto davar. The exact same thing. The lulav is also going to stop bad. We do it to the 4 directions and we do it up and down. Why are we doing that? We're doing it because we're going to stop also all the bad winds and all the bad things like that. And that's what it says here. He used to show. He used to say, this is arrows in the eyes of the Satan. But he says v'lav mintai, but it's not good to say that. Mishum dati. Why? Because if you come and you imagine right now the Satan is watching you, and you come and you say this is the arrows in his eyes, that guy's gonna come and get you. Yeah, so therefore it's not good to come and start up with a Satan. Out of all the people to start up with, that's the last guy that you want to start up with. Exactly. Exactly. Don't poke a dog in the eye. 100%. So the same thing. So therefore, don't come and say that. You understand? If we're doing it for that, yeah, it could be. But don't put it in, don't shove it in his face. You understand? Just keep quiet. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned to the Braita. Zivche shel met zibur tiunim tenufa la'achar shchita. The zivche shalmet tzibur. Remember, shlamim is a peace offering, and this is of a tzipur. So, for example, the two kivsei atzeret of Shavuot, they need to be waved after the shechita. Utnufatan kemot she'en, and you wave them just like they are, right when they're shlemim. Divrei Rebbe. Chachamim say no. The chazeh v'shok. You only wave the chest and the thigh. Okay, b'maika mipalgeh, what is the machloka between them? We're on the bottom of Samech Bet Amud Aleph, 62a on the bottom. B'maika mipalgeh, amar Rav Chasta l'Rav Amnuna, v'amri l'an, some people say Rav Amnuna, Rav Chasta, bedun mina umina, bedun mina v'hu ki batra mipalgeh. The machloket is, do we judge from it and learn from it, or do we judge from it and we're going to judge from somewhere else? That's the machloka between them, right? What does that mean? Let's explain. Rabbanan savre, Rabbanan hold. Dun mina, you're going to be, the mekor is the yikara dalacha, and that's where you're going to learn it. So he says like this, Maziv cheshalme yachid, just like by the shlamim of a yachid, you need to wave it after shchita. So to shalme tzibur, you're going to need to wave it after the shchita. Now what is umina? You're also learning from it as well. Just like over there, which is a shalme yachid, it's only the chazeh v'shok. So to here, it's only going to be chazeh v'shok. Meaning, I'm going to learn the necessity, the requirement to wave, and I'm going to learn the exact same thing about the waving from the same halacha. So if the zivche shalmei yachid is only waving the breast, the chest and the shok and the thigh, so to here, the same thing. I'm only going to do the chest and the thigh. He says Rebbe holds domina ve'ukabitra, which means that I'm going to learn from it, but I'm going to put it in its same place. Just like the shalmei yachid, you wave it after shchita. So to zivche shalmei tzibur, you're going to wave it after shchita. Ve'ukibatra, but leave it there. Hatam hu chazeh v'shok. Over there, it's only going to be chazeh v'shok, but here, it's the way that it is. Just like they are alive. So that's the machloka between them. Okay? Samech bet amud bet, 62b. So basically the machloket is, do I apply the main concept, but once I apply the main concept, I also learned all the specifics of the halachot from it. That's don mina mina. I'm learning from it that you have to do the waving, right? Plus, I'm learning from it how to wave, which is on the chazeh v'shok. Or don mina, I learn from it that you have to wave, but uki batra, let me leave it the way that it is, right, in the zivche shalmet tzibur, that it's going to be the way that the animal is, not the chazeh v'shok. Okay? Another way to explain the machloket, Samech Bet Amud Bet 62b, Rav Papa comes and he says, Dechuli alma, according to everybody, Dol minau minahu. We learn from it itself, by itself. V'hainu tamad Rabbi, and this is the reasoning of Rabbi, Ki hatam, just like over there, ma hatam, just like over there, Davar matana lekohen, it's a davar matana to the kohen, Afacha, so to here, it's going to be davar matana to the kohen. Meaning, right, over there, the chazeh v'shok goes to who? To the kohen. So to here, when we're going to do it, the kvasim itself, everything goes to the kohen. So therefore, I'm allowed to take the entire thing. By the regular shalmei yachid, only the chazeh v'shok goes to the kohen. The chest and the thigh goes to the kohen. By the shalmet tzibur, the entire thing goes to the kohen. Ravina comes and he says, I'm going to learn another way also. According to everybody, we learn from it, but we learn from the shalmei yachid, but we still learn from the same shalmet tzibur, ukibatra, in the same place. The reasoning of Rabbanan is because it says shalmehem. And when it says shalmehem, it's a ribuyahu. It's an inclusion. So it's coming to include all the types of the shlamim, even shalmet tzibur, that you only do the chazeh v'shok. Rabbi Shimon comes and he says, right, where it says, yeah, the two dots. Everyone sees it? Rabbi Shimon Omer. Okay, 2, 4, 6 lines down. Rabbi Shimon Omer. There are 3 different types of korbanot that need 3 different mitzvot. 2 of them in every single one. Right? And the third one, you don't really need. These are the 3. We've got the shlamim of a yachid, a peace offering of an individual. The peace offering of the tzibur, for example, on Shavuot, the 2 sheep. V'hasham metzora, and the hasham, the guilt offering of a leopard, of a person that has leprosy. The the shalmei yachid, you have to do smicha. You remember we spoke about smicha? Leaning on the animal. So you have to lean on the animal when it's still alive, and then you have to wave the animal when it's already after the shchita. And you don't have waving when it's alive. Emben trufa b'chaim. Zivche shalmei tzibur, the zivche shalmei tzibur trufa chaim. There you have to wave them when it's alive. And then you have to wave them when it's shchuta as well. So here you have two wavings. One waving when it's still alive, and then another waving after the shchita is done, after the slaughtering. Ve'em ba'en smicha, but there's no smicha done to it. Asham metzora taun smicha utnufa chai. The asham metzora by a leopard, you need to do the smicha and the tnufa, the leaning and the waving when it's alive, and there's no tnufa when it's going to be done, the shchita. Okay? Now it says, the use of zivche shalmei yachid, tunin trufa chayim, mikal v'chomer. Now ask the Gemara, 1 second. The shalmei yachid, which is a shlamim of an individual, should require a waving, right, when it's alive. Why? From a kal v'chomer. Just like the shalmei tzibur, that they don't need smicha chayim, they don't need to lean on it when it's alive, they still need to do trufa when it's alive. Zivche shalmei yachid, that you do need to do smicha when it's alive. So for sure you should do also trufa when it's alive. So says the Gemara, no. There's an extra word by the public shlamim. When it says otam, you have to wave them. The word them is mashma only the shalmei tzibur and not the shalmei yachid. Meaning, I wanted to make a kal v'chomer. Remember, kal v'chomer is, if I could carry 100 pounds, I could carry 10. Right? Obviously, it's a kal v'chomer. I'm learning the light from the heavy. If I could take a burden of 20 pounds, 20 kilos, so obviously I could do 10. That's the kal, the lighter, the 10, from the chamur, from the stricter one. So here he says, 1 second, the shalmei yachid, I have to do smicha b'chaim. I have to lean on it b'chaim. Shalmei tzibur, I don't. So if I have to come and do on the shalmei yachid smicha b'chaim, so kal v'chomer I have to do also the trufa b'chaim, because by the shalmei tzibur, I do have to do the trufa b'chaim. I do have to wave it when it's alive, even though there's no smicha. So says the Gemara, but there's a pasuk. The pasuk excludes waving when it's alive. So says the Gemara, "V'yu zivche shalmei tzibur should need semicha from a kal v'chomer." Just like the shalmei yachid, they don't need trufa mechayim. You don't have to wave it when it's alive, and it still needs to lean on it. Zivche shalmei tzibur, that you do have to wave it when it's alive. So for sure you have to do semicha. You have to lean on it. Amar Ravina, Ravina says, Gemira, we have halakha Moshe Sinai. Sometimes we have traditions and a masoret, a tradition from Moses, from halakha Moshe Sinai, that what? He says, shte semichot betzibur v'lo yoter. You never have more than 2 different semichot on an animal. So therefore the shalmei tzibur is not between them. So therefore we learn from here, halakha Moshe Sinai, that shalmei tzibur do not need semicha. Yeah? There's only 2. Let me see what it says here. Okay, it doesn't tell us which ones are the 2. Here it is. It says over here it's par helem davar shel tzibur, meaning if they forgot the halacha, right? That they're the 3 of the ziknei Sanhedrin are going to do the semicha, and the Sayyida Mishtaleach Lazazel of the Kohen Gadol. Those are the only 2. Meaning there's only going to be 2 korbanot tzibur that you do semicha, that you lean on them. Only 2. 2 public korbanot, 2 public sacrifices that you lean on them. Only 2. The Kohen Gadol and the Sayyid, the he-goat that he throws off the cliff on the Kippur, and the other one is Par Elem Davar Shel Tzibur. Okay? And obviously this one was not one of them. So ask the Gemara, V'yeh Hasham Metzorah Ta'um Tnufa. The Hasham Metzorah, which is the guilt offering of the leopard, it should need Tnufa, it should need waving, right? When it's going to be Shechita. Yeah? When it's after it's already slaughtered. From a kal v'chomer. Just like the shalmei yachid does not need waving when it's alive, and you still need waving when it's after shechita. The hasham metzorah, that you do wave it when it's alive. So for sure you should do the waving after it's done the shechita. So answers the Gemara, Miyet rachmana gabe zevchesh tzibur oto. It says oto, right? So again, it's dafka it. When it beforehand it said otam, them. Now it's saying it. It is lemiutet to come to exclude hasham metzorah. So Tana Rabbanan, we learned to the Braita, Chamisha sheviu korban echad, echa manif al yedei kulam. When you have 5 people bringing a korban in a partnership, so one person does the waving for everybody, meaning you don't need every single 5 to do the waving. One person does waving for everybody. The Aisha, and to do with the woman, Kohen menif al yada. The Kohen is going to do it for her. Imagine you're here in Miami and you're sending a korban to the Bet Mikdash. The same thing. Kohen manif, you know, the Kohen will come and do the trufa on your behalf.